Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike, and the other day I was out shopping for some new clothes. I wanted to get myself some new shirts, so I found this very interesting store with an amazing style of clothing. You can see it's a lovely blue shirt. I got a little pocket here. I can put my pens in there, but that's not the best part. This is the best part. Whoa! That's amazing! That's so loud too! Oh, I love this part of the song. Hang on. Oh yeah, there we go again. So you see, I got a shirt that's also a speaker. Anywhere I go, I got rock music, I got hip hop, and I got something that looks really good when I go to a business meeting because I'm using MIT's paper-thin technology, which turns any surface into a speaker, including my lovely new blue shirt. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Engineers at MIT have come up with a speaker that is as thin as a piece of paper, uses very little power, and can be fixed to nearly any surface. Though MIT's device is not the first super thin speaker ever created, it is the only one that works while staying in full contact with other objects. All right, so this story definitely comes to us from the science file, but it's also one of those cool science stories where you think, wow, that's kind of cool, but then you think about it more and more and you try to, wait, then we could do this, then we could do that, and it suddenly becomes almost world-changing. Let's find out what it is. It says MIT's paper-thin technology turns any surface into a speaker. That's right. Now, you know, most of us have speakers that we play music through. Sometimes they can be small, sometimes they're a bit bigger, but you need some size for a speaker because, you know, you're moving air and sound. So having one that it can fit on any surface and is as thin as a piece of paper, that's kind of cool. Because imagine being able to put a speaker on any surface. A surface is basically the outer part of something, usually a flat outer part. When we think of the top of a table or the top of a counter, we're thinking of a surface. The floor is the surface that you walk on outside. The earth, the ground, the dirt, that's what covers the surface of our planet. You could think of your skin as being the surface of your bodies, kind of the outer part of it. But really here we're just kind of using this word surface because it's easier than saying you could put a speaker on any wall or table or chair or the back of something or, you know, on any surface. You can put it on the outside part and it will basically stick to that outside part, that surface, and it will be wonderful. Here's an example. The surface of the plate is smooth, but of course the surface of the moon is not. All right, back to the article. It says, engineers at MIT have come up with a speaker that is as thin as a piece of paper, uses very little power, and can be fixed to nearly any surface. There you go. It's very thin, just like a piece of paper, right? So if you hold it up, you can barely even see it. It uses very little power, and this is, of course, great news because saving power and battery life and all that stuff is important to us. And of course, you can put it on any surface, so it's very useful, very flexible. There's all sorts of things you could do. It says, though MIT's device is not the first super thin speaker ever created, it is the only one that works while staying in full contact with other objects. So someone else has produced a very thin speaker, but this one is very special because it will always work even if you put it in contact with other surfaces, with other materials. I guess some of the other speakers, they have to kind of hang in space or something. You can't have them touching something on all areas because that might stop the sound. So this one is very special. It can be in contact. When something is in contact, it is basically touching. Having contact with something is touching that thing. We can also use this to talk about staying in contact or being in contact. You're communicating with someone. You can be in contact by phone, by email, by text message, or if you're actually touching the person, if you're sitting on a chair, you are in contact with that instead of standing or floating in space. You're touching something. You're in contact. It says the disease spreads through person-to-person contact, all right? So you might not just get it by breathing. You might actually have to touch the person and then touch yourself. That general idea. Let's take a break and then we'll find out more about this incredible new speaker.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课程是要介绍麻省理工学院打造的超薄喇叭，它像纸一样薄哦。课文标题写到 MIT's paper-thin technology turns any surface into a speaker。好，其中的 MIT 在这里不是指 Made in Taiwan， 而是指美国的麻省理工学院。好，那么 paper-thin 它表示薄如纸的。那么单字 surface 是名词，表示表面或是表层。好，课文就写到说，麻省理工学院的工程师所想出这种超薄喇叭，耗电量很低，几乎可以固定在任何表面上。虽然它不是史上第一款超薄的喇叭，但它是唯一在跟其他物体完全接触下还可以运作的喇叭。单字 contact 在这边当名词，就是指接触、碰到或是联系、联络。那文中用 in full contact with 加名词，就是跟什么完全接触的意思。这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 come up with， 是表达想到、想出。那这个片语是强调想出针对某个问题的解决方案或者是新发明，它就跟 think of 意思类似。举例来说 ，Mary came up with a brilliant idea to solve the problem。Mary 想出一个很棒的点子来解决问题。接回到课文中。
It is designed with a layer of individually vibrating domes between two spacer layers. As a result, the domes are able to vibrate freely to generate sound while staying fixed to a surface. Additionally, the speaker requires just 1/10 of the electricity of a traditional speaker. The technology may prove to be most valuable in electronics with limited battery life, like cell phones. Also, engineers have suggested lining the insides of vehicles with sheets of the material to help cancel out engine sounds. And of course, the speaker could create next-level experiences in theaters, museums, or people's homes. The possibilities are endless.
So it's an amazing speaker. It's as thin as a piece of paper, uses very little power, and you can attach it to any surface. How is this possible? Well, let's find out. It says that's this amazing speaker. It is designed with a layer of individually vibrating domes between two spacer layers. Now, of course, all of this stuff is incredibly small. The spacer layers, I guess, would be the outer parts of this piece of paper, and in between these spacer layers are vibrating domes. A dome is basically half a circle, or the top or one portion of a circle. When you think of a building with a round roof that's kind of a half a circle shape, like the top of a church or the US Capitol building, St. Paul's Cathedral, that is a dome. And we often see a dome shape in speakers too, right? Because it helps to push the sound out into the world so that it goes in our ears and we hear it. So these domes vibrate, they shake, they move back and forth, and I guess that is how the sound is created. It says, as a result, the domes are able to vibrate, to shake freely to generate sound while staying fixed to a surface. Additionally, we read, the speaker requires just 1/10 of the electricity of a traditional speaker. So only 10% of the power you would normally use for the speakers we have today, just 10% of that power is needed to power these speakers. So you save 90% of all the power you would normally use. So that is additionally a great thing about it. Additionally, when you add something, you put it onto another thing, you increase that thing. When we say additionally, we're basically just saying and also. Here's another thing included in the list of all of the great things about this speaker. It's very efficient, it's very small or very thin. You can put it on any surface. And additionally, it will sound really good. It will make your music sound great. Something like that. Here's an example. Joe's new computer has a large screen. Additionally, it's quite thin. Could I have said, and it's quite thin also? It's quite thin. I could definitely. You can also, of course, say in addition. It's the same as additionally. Electricity, that is the power that we use to basically run all of the devices in our lives, except things like cars that might power themselves on gas. We use electricity to power lights, computers, televisions. Electricity goes into your phone in a battery. You use the electricity to run the machine, to turn on the lights, to make your refrigerator keep your food cold, or your washing machine clean your clothes. Those are powered by electricity, not by oil or gas or other things. For example, refrigerators run on electricity. Yes, a coal-powered refrigerator would not be a good idea. Back to the article. The technology, it says, may prove to be most valuable in electronics with limited battery life, like cell phones. Yeah, very, very important. If you're attaching it to things, those are things you probably won't plug into the wall all the time. You'll put a battery in. With this speaker, your battery life will last much, much longer. And that, of course, would be great news for everyone. Also, this is interesting, also engineers have suggested lining the insides of vehicles with sheets of the material to help cancel out engine sound. So not just so that you can hear the music while you're driving your vehicle really nicely, the music will sound great, but when you're not listening to music, these sheets of speakers could be used to basically make the inside of the car very quiet. And if you've ever driven on a highway, you might notice that it can get kind of loud inside that car. And so this would be wonderful for many different types of vehicles. Think of also helicopters, which can be very noisy. Now it could be nice and quiet in that type of vehicle. What is a vehicle? Well, basically, it's a machine that moves people around. It probably has working parts. It's not a horse. It's a bicycle. You could call a bicycle a vehicle, but generally when we think of vehicles, we're thinking of cars, trucks, buses, taxis, motorcycles, things like that. For example, you can't park here, please move your vehicle. Instead of saying move your truck or your SUV or your sports car, just move your vehicle. Move that thing you drive around in with wheels on it. Back to the article. And of course, the speaker could create next level experiences in theaters, museums, or people's homes. You could basically hide a speaker anywhere you wanted. The back of your movie chair, the halls of a museum. So where's the sound coming from? It's coming from the walls. The possibilities are endless. Basically, you can use your imagination, and basically anything you think of, that is something you could put a speaker on. Sounds pretty cool. Here's our what do you think question. Where would you put this type of super thin speaker? That is a tough question. I think kind of hiding them around in your business, if it's a restaurant or a museum, a music club, something like that. You could have speakers on the tables, on the walls, all over the place, and you could really use it to kind of create wonderful atmospheres and environments. How about you guys? Where would you put your speaker? You could use your creativity to come up with all sorts of possibilities. Have a chat about that. Enjoy your music with whatever sound, whatever speaker or headphone you enjoy it on, and we'll see you back here sometime very soon. Until then, happy listening, and bye-bye.
好，我们来看看这一款超薄喇叭的设计。它是在2层分隔片之间呢，有一层可以独立振动的圆顶型单体。圆顶型单体固定在某个表面的时候呢，它能自由振动来产生声音。好，文中是用 dome 这个字 D-O-M-E 来指圆顶型单体。好，其实这个字当名词，它有这种圆屋顶啊、穹顶建筑的意思，或者是半球形物。那 Mike 老师在解释的时候呢，他有提到这个大教堂里面会有这种穹顶建筑 读的方式嘛。好，那他提到 cathedral，C-A-T-H-E-D-R-A-L， 它就可以表达大教堂或是主教座堂。好，那么课文接着写到说，此外这款喇叭只需要传统喇叭1/10的电力。那这项技术可能可以用在那种电池使用时间有限的电器设备中，像是手机。那工程师也有建议说，在交通工具内部来铺这种材料层，来帮助抵消引擎的声音。此外呢，这款喇叭也可以在戏院啊、博物馆或是人们的家中创造出非常棒的体验。文中是用 next level experiences 来表达非常棒的体验。next level 就是形容非常好的、非常先进的。那我们也补充一个用法，如果你说 take something to the next level， 字面意思是把某事物带到下一个层次，也就是用来表达进一步去改善啊、发展某事物，把某事物提升到更好的层面。再来看单字 additionally， 这个副词表示此外，而且。electricity 它表示电力或者是电。那么文中还有用到 electronics， 它则是表达电子设备、电子仪器。这个字也有电子学的意思。还有 vehicle 是车辆、交通工具。好，这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是。动词 suggest 它可以指提议、建议。那以下介绍2种常见用法，一种就是用 suggest 后面直接接名词或动名词，像 he suggested taking a walk after dinner， 或是 he suggested a walk after dinner， 他提议吃完晚餐后去散步。那另外一种用法就是用 suggest 加上 that 子句，只是要注意这个 that 子句的结构是主词加上 should 再加原形动词，或者是用主词加原形动词。例如 My friend suggested that we should book a table in advance， 或者是 we book a table in advance。我朋友建议我们先定位。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Engineers at MIT have come up with a speaker that is as thin as a piece of paper, uses very little power, and can be fixed to nearly any surface. Though MIT's device is not the first super-thin speaker ever created, it is the only one that works while staying in full contact with other objects. It is designed with a layer of individually vibrating domes between 2 spacer layers. As a result, the domes are able to vibrate freely to generate sound while staying fixed to a surface. Additionally, the speaker requires just 1/10 of the electricity of a traditional speaker. The technology may prove to be most valuable in electronics with limited battery life, like cell phones. Also, engineers have suggested lining the insides of vehicles with sheets of the material to help cancel out engine sounds. And of course, the speaker could create next-level experiences in theaters, museums, or people's homes. The possibilities are endless.
Hey, I'm Josh.
I'm Vivian.
And today we're going to be playing Word Drop. We each have 3 cards with words or phrases on them that we haven't seen, and we get to turn them over and have a bit of a chit-chat. So let's have a natural conversation. Start us off, Vivian. Let's get this ball rolling.
Alrighty. All right, let's see. So something that I have found to be very interesting lately is to watch the what's it called? The Apple, where they release things and they kind of like have a whole show about, you know, what's new and what the different updates and stuff. And something that I feel like is really interesting is all the different like graphic elements that they have at these events. And it is something that I find is additionally entertaining.
Sounds pretty entertaining, all right. I'm not sure what they're going to release next. I mean, they just seem to be releasing something, it seems like every week now. It's just moving so quickly and I just can't even keep up. This world of technology we're in, new products all the time, and then of course just, you know, the phenomenon that has been COVID. I just feel we've got technology combined with the COVID. I'm just really lacking in human physical contact.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like it was a year of kind of staying apart from people, and then it's kind of like awkward when you are back in normal society. But something that I feel is nice is during COVID, you were able to FaceTime people or talk to people online and on big surfaces.
Yeah, that is a bit of a benefit. It can, people found a way to still remain connected without even seeing each other, which was pretty beneficial for a lot of people, I think, especially moving overseas. People can travel as much. Even today, I suppose, it's become even more convenient. If you don't feel like going to work, you can just work at home. If you don't feel like seeing your friend, you can just call them up and video chat. And I mean, I wish I could have that luxury, but my house has no electricity.
Your house has no electricity? That is terrible. Is it, maybe you should talk to your landlord about that. But in the meantime, maybe you can go out for a walk and ride in a vehicle.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Don't mind riding in a vehicle or going for a walk if I can. I don't have a vehicle, so I can't do that, but I do have very able-bodied legs, and I can go for walking on my hind legs when I do so feel. But I just find it's really hard to come up with new ways of having fun.
Yeah, definitely. That was really hard.
Yeah.
See you next time!